Andrew, have you heard the good news?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, but please remind me of the good news of the day.
Okay, so I know we give Kino a hard time,
We do.
mostly just
With all
because
the
they
love in
put
the
out
world.
way too many titles. Um,
Right.
but finally, they've done it.
Those beautiful people.
They've done it. They've put out Hard Target.
Nice. Nice. If you wanted a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, directed by John Woo, taking place in Louisiana,
Punching a
where
snake.
punching a snake, where it's basically kind of half the plot of The Most Dangerous Game, and Wilford Brimley has a Cajun accent, and I think he's brewing moonshine in like the bayou or something like that.
It's
That's our target.
in 4K.
In 4K, mind you. UHD 4K.
Yeah. Here we are, back on another episode, spy number 7 of Chasing Labels. I'm
Nice.
Stephen Billings, and with me is Andrew Cabral. Man, what's up?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Glad to be back on our relatively regularly scheduled programming. This is Chasing Labels number 7. Big 7.
We, got a big episode. This is a big one, guys. We got a lot of good stuff that got released. Arrow's just been punching us in the face with some releases recently. And then Indicator was like, hey, we can punch too. So, and then, Severin's got some stuff. We got some stuff from Warner Archive. We got to catch up on some Kino stuff. So we got a fun-filled episode ahead. What do you think's how do you feel about this?
Yeah, this is an action-packed episode of Chasing Labels because we just got inundated with so many releases in the last week or so. For those of you who are regular listeners, know that we put out an episode last week to kind of catch up on all these releases. And I'm glad that we did, because this episode would have gone on forever had we not.
Yeah, we would have had to do a trilogy of, we try to keep these about an hour and a half to 2 hours, but it's, I act like I'm complaining, but I'm not. I'm excited about all these releases and being able to talk about them and hopefully get you guys excited. So without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it.
Nice. So first up, we are going to dive into the plethora of releases from our good old friends at Kino Lorber Studio Classics. They'll never stop rolling this train down those tracks, and we've got a few that dropped a little while ago, so we're playing a little bit of catch up here. But this first one here, I think, is kind of a big one. It's another Billy Wilder film, which they have a bunch in their catalog, and this is The Fortune Cookie. And I think this is important because if memory serves, this is the first team up with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, a dynamic comedic duo on screen. And yeah, I've seen this movie. I think it's great. And I'm so happy this is getting a release. And next up is a movie that I'm not familiar with called Percy. And this film stars, I'm not too familiar with these names, but Britt Eklund definitely comes to mind, because I believe she was one of the Bond girls during, I want to say one of the second Bond, not Sean Connery, but
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore, I believe, if memory serves. But this is a Code Red and Kino Lorber team up, and yeah, this looks interesting. They must like it a lot because they're giving it a 4K restoration, so they must really be digging that movie. I'm not sure who the director is, but I'm curious about it.
All right,
I'm curious about it.
Next
but
one.
moving on, we got a movie starring the great and funny and the enigmatic Dick Van Dyke in a movie called Fitzwilly. And I just love this cover. If you see this cover at home, it looks like a nice caricature cover. And I'm really digging it. Really digging it. And always, the more Dick Van Dyke, the better. I got to get the Dick Van Dyke Show on Blu-ray. I got the first season. I got to get the rest of them.
My favorite Dick Van Dyke reference of all time is in Wayne's World.
Nice.
When he's like, I think it's the second one, where he's like in the waiting room and he's talking to Drew Barrymore she's the receptionist at the dentist, I think. And he's like talking to her, and she like kind of flirts with him, and he walks back to his seat and he almost trips over the coffee table. He's like, "Oh, Dick Van Dyke Show."
Yeah, because he falls over like the ottoman or like the footrest for like
Yeah.
the couch or like the chair or something in the opening credits of Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah.
We could go on a whole thing about like why like they just can't get like the old classic television on Blu-ray because they're too expensive to restore and not enough people are buying them. But moving on from Fitzwillie, we have a movie called What's So Bad About Feeling Good. Isn't that true, Stephen?
I guess.
I guess so. This film stars George Peppard, and speaking of Dick Van Dyke Show, Mary Tyler Moore, who got her start in the Dick Van Dyke Show, which leads me to say, why can't we get the Mary Tyler Moore Show on Blu-ray finally? But they'll just keep re-releasing it on DVD. These are all August releases from Kino, so these will all be coming out later this year. And both this film and Percy are both getting DVD releases as well. And there was one I skipped over here by accident, like an idiot. And also starring Mary Tyler Moore is a movie called Thoroughly Modern Millie from 1967. This movie is apparently also getting a 4K restoration, but also a Roadshow edition. And Roadshow editions are basically longer cuts of the movies, essentially. Usually those cuts are like lost, like they never put those on Blu-ray or DVD.
Yeah, no, not very often.
No, they don't. But next we have another Blu-ray and DVD release, and this is Moment by Moment, starring Lily Tomlin and John Travolta from 1978. So you've got that, I guess, post-Saturday Night Fever John Travolta.
Yeah.
And pre 9 to 5 Lily Tomlin. I think Lily Tomlin was in 9 to 5, I believe.
I'm not sure.
I always get 9 to 5 and Working Girl confused. They both came out in the 80s, and they both dealing with like kind of workplace feminism and fighting against misogyny and stuff like that. But next up is a movie called Guyana Cult of the Damned, which is a great title.
It's a great title.
Really great title. This is another Code Red and Kino Lorber team-up. And yeah, this is getting a 2K master, and it's from 1979. So we're getting kind of a 60s and 70s slate here of movies, of catalog
Looks
movies.
like it's a Mexican-American exploitation film.
Yes, and apparently it also has an alternate title of Guyana Crime of the Century. I kind of like Cult of the Damned.
I like Cult of the Damned better.
The movie may have had nothing to do with a cult of the damned, but it's still a great title. Then next we move into a slate of what I love to call Vincent Price goodness, because it's just a bunch of releases of movies starring the great Vincent Price, whom I'm a gigantic fan of. And basically all of these titles that are coming up have all been released on on Blu-ray here before in the various Vincent Price Collections Blu-ray sets from Shout Factory. Some of those are out of print. Some of them are still in print. They reissued the first volume of that, but all of these were in various forms in those sets. But they're all getting individual releases here with slipcovers. And first up is Master of the World, which is based off of two Jules Verne stories. So it's a very interesting movie. These are all very interesting movies. I don't know if this is a Roger Corman film, but I know a couple of the other ones are. Because he and Roger Corman, Vincent Price, that is, and Roger Corman had a great dynamic with one another in like the 60s. But next is The Last Man on Earth, which came out in 1964. This movie is fascinating to me because those of you who are definitely familiar with the story, Vincent Price is allegedly the last man on Earth because a big plague is taking everybody out.
Yeah.
But this is based off of the novel I Am Legend, which has been adapted into this movie. It's been adapted into Omega Man,
Yeah, I was going to say Omega Man. Yeah.
and I Am Legend, starring Will Smith. But apparently, this is the most accurate of all the adaptations.
Wow.
I learned that while watching this movie for the first time. But that's really fascinating.
Yeah, this one's one would you say it's worth a buy?
I really liked it. Out of all of these movies that I watched for this episode, this is the one I think I rated the highest.
Yeah.
It's really like kind of stripped down, where it's just like Vincent Price kind of dealing with being alone and like the last man on Earth, allegedly. But it's weird because like they say it's like like people got turned into vampires, yet they feel more like zombie/vampires. But this also predates Night of the Living Dead, which is kind of the seminal zombie film that kind of set up all of the things we know for zombie films. Yet these monsters in this movie feel like zombies. I don't know. But they also have a craving for blood, so they're vampires. But then they only come out at night, and you gotta stake them. So they're vampires, zombies, whatever. They're undead.
Well, even in I Am Legend, it was kind of vague.
Yeah.
Yes,
it was. But moving on, we have probably a more well-known Vincent Price film, and that is The Raven. And this is a very, very loose, not even adaptation. It just takes the title of the Edgar Allan Poe poem, The Raven. Quote The Raven nevermore. I used to be able to recite the whole thing because I had to learn it in school. But this is a really kind of great, weird movie dealing with like magic and mysticism. It stars Peter Lorre. It's one of his last films.
Yeah, I got it in the Arrow set.
A lot of these films are also in that Arrow set, which is, what's it called, like Terrors or something?
Six Gothic Tales.
That's what it is, Six Gothic Tales.
Yeah.
So these films are very gothic.
Yeah, I've seen this one. It's okay. It's a lot of it is, like it's got some cool sets.
What I love about it, just the cast: Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, and Boris
Jack
Karloff.
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson in one of his earliest roles. So it's just kind of fun. It's almost like a time capsule piece.
Yeah. Part
of like cinema history, and I just love these. These movies aren't great, but I just love that they're just hamming it up. You know what I mean? These films are so campy, so hammy. I mean, this is a Roger Corman AIP picture, so that's what you're gonna get. Cheap looking sets. You're gonna get, just camp galore. But they're always pushing it to the nines, taking it as seriously as possible.
Yeah.
So that's that, and we have another movie here called Fast Charlie, starring David Carradine. And this movie looks like it's getting a new 2K master, also from the 70s. Also produced by Roger Corman. So you're getting kind of a bunch of Roger Corman pictures here. I think this was after he had left AIP and formed that other company that I can't remember the name of.
Yeah. Looks like a racing, like a motorcycle film. Yeah.
And they have there's no picture art for it. They just using the movie poster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't know if that's what they're going to utilize for it, but
Yeah.
Next is another Vincent Price film called Comedy of Terrors, which I also did see. This film also stars...
It's the same cast almost.
Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, and Boris Karloff. But this comes out, I believe, in 1964. So this was like 1 year after that previous The Raven. And this movie is like a really dark comedy where... Like Vincent Price is a funeral home director, but he's like his business just sucks and he just doesn't have any business at all. So basically, he just decides to create his own business by like knocking off people to get business booming. And Peter Lorre is like his assistant, and Boris Karloff plays like his like father-in-law who used to run the business. It's a comedy of darkly comedic film. I dug it. I really dug it a lot. And next up is, of course, the creme de la creme.
Yes.
The jewel of the Nile, if you will. It is Hard Target, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, John Woo.
This hit me right in just all the right places. Sorry, that sounded gross. But we've talked about Jean-Claude Van Damme before in here. 88 Films has been putting out a lot of the Jean-Claude Van Damme stuff, but now Kino's getting into the Jean-Claude Van Damme game. And not only are they getting into it, but they're doing it in 4K. So
yes,
they're going hard.
And this is John Woo's, I believe, first American film.
Is it?
After coming over from Hong Kong, making all those great movies in Hong Kong, like Hard Boiled, The Killer.
Yeah, and of course, not too long after this, he would do Face Off.
Yes, he would. Yes. Yes, he would. But before that, he would do Broken Arrow.
Yeah, Broken Arrow. Yeah.
I don't like that movie. I don't know if that's a hot take.
It's not good. No, it's not good.
But this release here is getting not only the U.S. theatrical cut, but the unrated director's cut as well, which I believe has only been available on a VHS edition way back when. I think I read that
I
somewhere.
probably had that at some point.
So yeah, that's something pretty big, and of course it's gonna get a new spiffy new remaster, I assume.
It's saying I'm seeing down here in the comments, Kino's saying that they did an interview with John Woo for this edition and said he wouldn't agree to do it unless they restored that uncut edition.
Oh, nice.
So that's why it's on here, is that he wouldn't do any special features, I guess, for it if he didn't get that unrated director's cut on there. So.
Now, Steven, do you already own this in previous editions?
I think I have a Blu-ray. I think I have a Blu-ray that's in like a 4-movie pack of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
Yeah, they did. I remember that.
Yeah, I think it's got like
cool.
The Quest on it, and maybe like Bloodsport, and so I have this movie, but it's in like a 4-pack or something.
Cool. So that's a pretty big release
for us. Or for me.
For us?
For me.
I'm not even that big of a Jean-Claude Van Damme person. I just don't own that movie at all. So, I mean, now would be the best time to get it.
Now you have, it's for your John Woo area.
Yeah, no, I need it for my John Woo section.
Yeah.
I need to fill out that section, actually. But anywho, the next film is called The Devil's Eight. And this movie is a team-up release between Kino and Scorpion Releasing. We know they've been teaming up a lot lately. I know nothing about this movie other than like it looks pretty cool.
Well, I can tell you one thing. To kind of connect it to something else. Like we're going to talk about Severin later, and the director of this film also directed a couple recent Severin releases. He directed Grizzly and Day of the Animal. So
all right,
yeah.
I'm cool.
Sorry, you know what? I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I'm thinking of the main actor was in both of them movies.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Yes.
I just love this tagline. Yeah. The Eight, you'll love or hate. Oh, okay. All they had was a skill for violence and nothing to lose but their lives. Nice.
Yeah, the main actor, Christopher George, was in them 2 movies. That's what I meant.
Okay. Yep, it does say that. Christopher George, Grizzly, Day of the Animals, Mortuary. Wonder what that movie's about. Sounds like death.
Probably a living people? No, dead people.
It is getting a new 2K master, so they are doing that. So, the next film was another Vincent Price film, and this is Edgar Allan Poe's The Tomb of Ligeia.
That sounds good.
And you know what's crazy? I've seen this movie, and I can't remember what the pronunciation is.
Well, I've seen this movie, and to be honest, I can't even really remember it that well. I know I've seen it, though, because I watched that whole set. It's also in the Arrow set. So
yes, it is directed by, once again, Roger Corman.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's Tomb of Ligeia.
That sounds good.
I think it does. There's a note down here in the comments here. I don't know if you see it.
Yeah.
Something to do with.
It says, thanks to good people at Arrow,
yes,
we were able to fix a minor edit issue with the Comedy of Terror.
Okay.
So that's a different movie.
Oh, I don't know why they put it under this and not under Comedy of Terrors.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something to do with a missing edit, and they were able to restore it, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Must be an important second. Okay, I just wanted to put that in there. I didn't know if it had to do with this release, but still important. Yeah, this movie's another like Roger Corman, Vincent Price, like Edgar Allan Poe quasi adaptation.
Yeah.
I dig all these. They're so like they're so
I'm
campy.
definitely into them, as you said, as like more of a time capsule thing. They're not all great movies,
no,
except for the next one. I'm excited to.
This movie's actually pretty great. I mean, I've seen it. The next movie comes out a little bit later in Vincent Price's filmography, if you will, and this is Theater of Blood. Came out in 1973, so this is several years later down the line, and this movie's kind of brilliant. Basically, Vincent Price plays a killer, like a serial killer who's killing people by using like Shakespearean plays.
Think about the movie Birdman, and if Keaton became like a killer. And he of course he's not Shakespearean, but you know what I mean? Like the movie's about the relationship between actors and critics. And this takes it to a
absurd level. Absurd level of violence. Yeah, Vincent Price is an actor who I think he used to be brilliant, and he's just not good anymore, or critics have just been panning him.
I think
So he
I
goes
think they
around-
just never really gave him his due, and
Yeah.
like he's just really like just bitter about it.
Yeah,
So
he's
now he's
spiteful.
finally gonna get
So
it.
he goes around killing them.
Yeah, and
he
he kills
stages
them all
each
in
of-
very Shakespearean ways.
Yeah, he stages them all for different Shakespearean plays.
So maybe he's like Saul. He's like Jigsaw.
It's kind of like that. Oh man, I just recently did a binge of all those movies.
Yeah, but this did have a Twilight Time release, and I got that one. But I think I might buy this again because if we haven't said, but all these movies have got these nice slipcovers.
They do.
So I might rebuy this one because it's got a nice slipcover artwork.
And the slipcovers, they do tell us this, which is kind of nice, are limited to the first 2,500 copies.
Yeah.
I think of each of these movies as I'm reading this word. And also, while these, like I said earlier, have been put out in other forms, whether it's through the Shout Factory release collections here in the States, or overseas with that Arrow edition, the Six Gothic Tales, you said, Stephen?
Yeah.
These are getting, looks like a new commentary on each one, or... Yeah, it does look like a new commentary for each one, so there is something new.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be the same, at least for I think here, they're probably going to be the same picture quality that were on those Shout Factory releases. Arrow kind of does their own stuff when it comes to picture and sound quality. So I don't know what the comparison will be between these here and that one there, just because Arrow's they're on a whole different game.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of more releases here, Stephen. Just two more actually. There's a movie called Bluebeard, also known as Landrew Color. And there's
Blue
no,
Panther.
that was it. What am I looking for?
I think there's two releases here.
Yes.
Blue Panther and Bluebeard.
Yes, and then Blue Panther is also known as Marie Chantal vs. Dr. Ka. And these are both getting 4K restorations from original camera negatives and new commentaries. So, yeah.
Wonder what the connection is. Are they both from the same filmmaker?
It
looks like they are.
Yeah, they're both from Claude Chabrol. They're both part of the French New Wave.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that with they've gotten a couple of those French New Wave releases. I think they got something from Jean-Luc Godard. I don't remember. But... yeah, that's interesting. For some reason, I thought Criterion had all of those directors' stuff. Like, I thought they had all Godard. I thought they had all Truffaut.
Yeah.
Thought they had all Claude Chabrol. I know they have all of Agnes Varda.
No, yeah.
It's also her birthday today.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Agnes.
I'm passed on now.
Well, I know that, but still.
Yeah. She's passed on. Yeah. But May 30th is when we're recording this. So, yeah, it's Agnes Varda's birthday today. So if you see all that on social media, you know what it's from. And then last and certainly not least, but the most vaguest is, it looks like Kino's putting out a 4K UHD release of Steven Soderbergh's Out of Sight, the film from 1998, based off of I believe the Elmore Leonard novel of the same name. But this stars George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez, Ving Rhames, Don Cheadle's in it, Catherine Keener, Dennis Farina. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's good. I know you're a Soderbergh fan.
This is a welcome release. I can't wait for this. I think it desperately needs it because this Blu-ray is kind of old.
I was gonna say it's been a while. That came out near the beginning.
Yeah, that Blu-ray may be from like the late 2000s, or if not early 2010s, like 2010 or 2011. So this is a welcome remaster and release. I love this movie. This is one of my favorite Soderbergh movies. I think this is the best acting performance by Jennifer Lopez in her acting career.
Look, let's not forget Made in Manhattan.
Oh,
okay?
I've seen that movie way too many times. I've seen that, and I've seen The Wedding Planner way too many times.
Oh, jeez. On purpose?
You know what it was? They would always play them on cable. Like TNT or TBS or whatever. Look, they would just play that all the time. So when I was younger...
Let's not forget it. No, on a more serious note, let's not forget about the movie she did called Enough, where she's fighting against her abusive husband.
Oh, I do remember that movie. Yes.
Yeah.
She's still acting. She's still
trying. All right. She's fine.
I'll do say I did like that movie Hustlers, the one
And then
where
she did Selena, right?
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
early on in her career, which
yeah,
was great in that. I
yeah,
think that actually predates Out of Sight.
yeah, yeah,
I think by like a year or two. She was also one of the Fly Girls in Living Color, which
yeah.
I watched a lot as a child. More than I watched SNL. I watched SNL when I was older, but that's neither here
Yeah.
nor there. So we're moving on now. Moving
That's
on
it.
down
Yeah.
the train.
Down to the next group of
And,
releases now
and
from Warner
yeah,
Archive.
yeah. And what's interesting about these is there's been nothing from Warner Archive directly regarding these releases. These are just out in the ether that people kind of picked up on, basically leaks, if you will. And these have been floating around now for at least over a week and a half. And there's just a slate of the Warner Archive June releases, and June's right around the corner, so
Yeah.
these probably should be known by now. But we have There Was a Crooked Man, Guns for San Sebastian, Ziegfeld Follies, It Happened at the World's Fair, Chain Lightning, and then Madame Curie.
Hmm.
Um,
The only one, I haven't seen any of these, but
right.
the Ziegfeld Folly, it's
Yeah,
a
Ziegfeld
musical.
Follies is
That's
the
got a
one I
great
want.
cast.
Yeah, this movie's like that movie's like an all-time like musical, like about musical theater and stuff.
Yeah, it's
There's
got
been- there,
Fred Astaire, Lucille Ball. Um, I mean, Judy Garland's in it.
yeah, it's
I
an
mean, Gene
I mean,
Kelly.
there are so many movies about or around Ziegfeld. Ziegfeld. I keep saying Ziegfeld.
That's what I
but-
said too.
Yeah, but it's about the showman extraordinaire Florence Ziegfeld.
Yeah.
Ziegfeld, and yeah, there's been like several movies with that title or with Ziegfeld in the title. Like there was like The Great Ziegfeld and then like
Yeah.
Ziegfeld Girls. Yeah, but I've always wanted to see Ziegfeld Follies.
Yeah, I mean,
it's an MGM film.
Yeah.
And it's one of those MGM musicals from I want to say the 1946, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
45.
45, yeah.
And I really want this movie. I think I've probably almost bought it on DVD several times. But out of these movies, the one I actually have seen was There Was a Crooked Man.
Yeah.
And that movie is actually pretty good. It stars Kirk Douglas and Kirk Douglas, Burgess Meredith, as well as why can't I remember his name? Henry Fonda. Henry Fonda's in it as well, and it's directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz,
Yeah.
who people should probably know. He was a great director. They just did a movie about his brother, Herman J. Mankiewicz,
Oh, yeah.
who wrote the screenplay for Citizen Kane. And yeah, Joseph L. Mankiewicz is a great director. I have a section for him in my collection. Yeah, he did like Cleopatra and so many movies. He did, like I said, Cleopatra, Suddenly Last Summer, Guys and Dolls, Barefoot Contessa, All About Eve.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, Ghost of Mrs. Moyer. So yeah, he's done a lot of movies. He's actually one of those directors. I think there's only like 3 of them who've won Best Director Academy Awards in back-to-back years. He won one in 1949 and 1950.
Okay.
The only other 2 people to do that were John Ford and
Alejandro
Gonzalez Inarritu. Yeah. So yeah, those are the 2 on this list that I really, really want. Guns for San Sebastian, I kind of want because it has Anthony Quinn and Charles Bronson in it.
Well, yeah.
And I
You
don't know.
gotta
I just
fill out
feel-
that Charles Bronson section.
Yeah, I need more Charles Bronson. I'm a big fan of his, and I just don't have a lot of his movies. But they've been getting a lot of releases lately, and when it comes to special features on these, there's nothing here. So I have no idea if any of these are getting features. I don't know what the picture quality is going to look like. Things are looking dire when it comes to Warner Archive these days. I mean, we talked about it a bunch of times here, but it's looking pretty quiet. Pretty quiet in terms of marketing.
Seems to be less and less attention to detail the further we get along.
Yep. And I mean, Warner Brothers just got sold off again to some other big ass company. So
Yeah.
who knows what that means for physical media when it comes to their catalog titles.
Yeah.
I think their new stuff, mainstream stuff, they'll still be.
Yeah,
putting
that's
that out.
always going to keep getting Blu-rays and yeah. But all
Moving
right,
on down the line.
moving on up, like George Jefferson.
Very true. Steven, you want to take it
Yeah,
away?
we're gonna move on to Severin. Severin Films. They released their August bundle, and I guess a special announcement we can go ahead and make. We did it on another show that might get released before this one. I'm not sure, but at the end of June, we are actually going to have a member of the Severin crew come on and talk about some new releases and their sale that they have going on at the end of the month. So his name's Andrew, and I think he does the Severin Films podcast. So he's scheduled to come on and talk with us at the end of the month. So that's exciting, right?
Very much so.
Yeah, get some inside scoop on how things are done at Severin, and I'm becoming a big fan of theirs. I've gotten a few of their releases. I've gotten their Andy Milligan set, their Al Adamson. I recently got the Grizzly and Day of the Animal releases. I got their. I plan
Santa
to get
Sangre?
Yeah. I got their Santa Sangre. And I'm probably going to get these releases here because I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing here with these August releases. So we'll start, I guess, with the funny one, which
do it.
Yeah. Which, if you listen to the Severin Film podcast, they go into why the kind of obvious outlier pick of Overboard being in the Severin collection, because Severin's known for kind of being more like exploitative kind of horror or like sex films and things like that. And Overboard's obviously not really in that area. But if you don't know what Overboard is, Overboard's a film from, I think, 1980s. I don't know the exact year, but it stars Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. And basically it's kind of like one of them amnesia movies where somebody loses their memory, and in this case, Goldie Hawn loses her memory, and Kurt Russell kind of takes her in and says that that's it. She's his wife, and they kind of fall in love in the process. And this is apparently right around the time they got together because they're married in real life.
Yes, they are. This movie did come out in 1987. Great year.
87. Okay.
Great year.
Directed by Gary Marshall.
Yes, the late Gary Marshall, and this is like Steve said, the most oddball movie for them to release, but they're giving it a new 2K restoration from an interpositive, so they're going full tilt with it. There's an interview with screenwriter Leslie Dixon. It is Region A locked, so that's kind of important to know if you're overseas and want this release.
Severin's an American. Distributor.
They're an American company.
They're based out of California.
We'll probably get a whole a nice background on Severin when our guest comes on in about a month's time. But yeah, they are an American company. I don't actually own this movie at all, so I kind of want if I want it, I guess this would be the release to get. There is already a Blu-ray of it around, and it's been a cheap Blu-ray to get. Like, I saw this in many bargain sections at many stores for the longest time.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I don't own this yet, actually, so it's gonna be one that I grab. I mean, easy. But honestly, the selling point for me is these other releases, because it's introducing a new filmmaker to me, and I'm always excited about that. And I've seen one of this filmmaker's movies. I checked it out before this podcast, and I really enjoyed it. The first and the one I have seen is the movie called Cannibal Man. From the writer-director Eloy de la Iglesias. And he was apparently a very prolific and popular filmmaker in the 70s and 80s and out of Spain. And yeah, I watched The Cannibal Man, which is also the other title for it is Week of the Killer, which I think is a better title and it fits the movie a lot better. But basically, Week of the Killer is about a man that basically accidentally kills a guy, and then it kind of like he has trouble hiding the bodies, so the body count just keeps building up, trying to hide the last murder he made. So it's it sounds they kind of market this movie to be more like a horror movie, but it's not. It's more psychological than anything. But it's honestly really good. There's some directing in here I really liked too. So, but it's gonna have 2 cuts of the film, extended version of Week of the Killer, which is 107 minutes, which is the one I saw, and then the international version, which they call the Cannibal Man, which is 98 minutes, and it's going to have cinema at the margins, Stephen Thrower and Dr. Shellen Rowan Legg on Eloy de la Iglesias. And then you're going to have Sleazy and the Strange interview with Carlos Allegra, and then deleted scenes, trailer, and reversible artwork. And it's region free. So
I noticed that, yeah.
Yeah. And the weird thing is too, is that there is some audio stuff here. Like the version I watched has a dubbed English version, like a forced English version over top of Spanish language. So, it's going to have all that there for you. If you don't like listening to foreign language or reading subtitles, it does have an overdub version that looks like that's going to come with it. So, but, are you interested in this release?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm digging it. This is very interesting. This is part of, I would say this is part of the video nasties, where we're basically like just do like these, like misunderstood shockers of the 70s, as I'm reading here, and it just, it looks fascinating to me, and I love the way you describe it. I also really love the cover. The cover is just wild.
Yeah, I was listening to some stuff about it. And they said that when they came up with the cover, they felt like it encapsulated the movie a lot better than some of the other advertisement from when it first came out. And I agree. This definitely encapsulates the movie a lot better. And it's one of the most shocking parts of the movie. So it really works. But it has a nice slipcover that's coming with it, along with Overboard. So,
and there's another one of his films that's getting released too, right?
Yeah, well, actually all the rest of these movies are all from Eloy de la Iglesias.
Okay, so take it away.
So the next group is actually a collection of films. It's 3 films, and it's pronounced kinky. And when we hear kinky, we think like sexy or kind of, but it's more talking about, it's the name for the genre. That's in Spanish, of course, pronounced in Spanish, spelled differently, with Q and not Kinky, but it's alluding to a subgenre called that was about like juvenile gang dramas, kind of like for us, The Warriors. This was their kind of subgenre of juvenile gangs in Spain, and it was called Kinky. And this is apparently 3 films that kind of fall into that spectrum from this director. And the first one's called Navarros, and the second one's called El Pico, and then El Pico 2. So I'm not familiar with these yet. I haven't, I looked into them a little bit, but there's no way to really watch them. But they're all films apparently about gangs, about the violence of gangs and all that, and drug use apparently. It's gonna have looks like interviews on La Iglesias from actor Jose Kirsten. We got El Pico's special features is gonna have blood in the streets, the kinky film phenomenon, an interview with kinky historian Miri Cressida and Tom Wiltaker. And then there'll be a trailer, and then El Pico 2 is going to have queerness, crime, and the Basque conflict in the kinky films of Eloy de la Iglesias, a panel with scholars Alejandro Melero and Paul Julian Smith, moderated by Evan Percule and of Ask Anybody. So, yeah, I mean, a lot to discover here.
Yes, and they're all getting newly remastered from the original camera negatives, which is kind of cool. Yeah. I'm digging it. There's a lot here, and I think there's one more too. Or did you already mention it?
No, it's a film called No One Heard the Scream.
Oh, I wonder what that's about.
Well, I'm hearing it's about a scream, maybe, but I think this one's kind of like a giallo. It says father of Spanish giallo. So yeah, I mean, I once again don't know much about this one, but I'm interested. It looks like it's got one interview going with it, from Dr. Andy Willis, on this particular genre from Iglesias. So yeah, they're all Regent free, and that's all from the Severin bundle. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, they all look fascinating to me. The plot for this film specifically feels a lot like Rear Window.
Okay.
Look, like from what I'm reading, it says like apparently a woman witnesses her neighbor disposing of his wife's corpse.
Yeah.
Will she? Yeah. Will is she going to be an accomplice or is she not? I don't know. It looks very interesting. Very interesting. Also, yeah, and like you said, it does feel very Gialli or Giallo-esque.
Gialli.
Gialli. I don't even know
Giallo.
the proper terminology for all that. Yeah, I'm very interested.
Cool.
And like you said, like these films are kind of tough to get, at least in any decent quality. And Severin seems to be going full tilt when it comes to delivering the best quality possible for these types of movies.
Yeah, I feel like them and Vinegar Syndrome kind of fall in the same, area when it comes to their type of films.
Indeed.
Which, if we didn't mention earlier, Vinegar Syndrome's got a big sale going on right now. The halfway to Black Friday sales, what they call it.
Yeah, that was happening this weekend. But by the time this episode's up, it may be over.
It might be over by then.
Yeah.
We're not going to go over it because they're still releasing stuff. Maybe we'll go over it next time, but kind of an aftermath maybe talk on it. But I don't know if you're still picking it up, but I did pick up Six String Samurai.
Yeah, I still got to order that. That's probably what I'm going to do after we're done recording.
Yeah, because
I'll probably be doing that.
Yeah,
that's the one release I really want.
Yeah, it looks amazing. All right,
but do you want to move over to Imprint now?
Let's do it.
Let's move over to Australia with Imprint. So there's a slate of films coming from Via Vision or Imprint Films, however you want to say it, wherever you want to do. And it's a familiar back catalog slate. I don't know if they're all Paramount films or no, they're not. But they're all films that I'm kind of glad are getting some Blu-ray releases somewhere.
Yeah.
And the films are Double Jeopardy, As Good as It Gets, Drugstore Cowboy, Chinese Box, Days of Heaven, and The Straight Story. So, just jumping into Double Jeopardy, because it's a 90s thriller. It's all thrilling, starring Tommy Lee Jones and Ashley Judd. I actually really like this movie. I think I watched it recently, like over the last 2 years or so for the first time.
Yeah.
It may have been streaming somewhere. It's such a, I would say it's not a throwback now, but if you were back around, I think it came out 99, that era of like, 90s thrillers, if you will. Yeah, I dug it. I really liked it. But this release,
it's fun.
Have you seen it?
It's a decent film. I mean, look, if you know me, we've talked about this before. The director, I'm not really a fan of some of his work. He did the, and Criterion people don't hate me, but he did a couple Criterion films. He did that Breaker's Warrant. And
was that Bruce Beresford?
Yeah.
That's his name?
Yep.
Completely forgot.
Yeah, he did that, and he did the other one, Mr. Johnson. And I, to be honest, I didn't get into them movies. I don't know why. It was something about them. I just didn't get into.
I didn't even realize that was the same director.
Yeah,
because those movies could not be more different than this movie.
He also did Driving Miss Daisy.
Another completely different movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
and that doesn't age very well.
That's not, yeah. Of all the Best Picture winners, that one's still rather puzzling.
Yeah. But this is a decent.
Yeah, but Double Jeopardy's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I dig it. It's a 90s, like, kind of espionage thriller. Yeah, basically, I think it's also dealing with amnesia as well. It didn't like
Well, I know that if I remember, Ashley Judd, who was in like all the thrillers of this time,
yeah.
she gets like framed for her husband's or like disappearance or yeah. I mean, that's about all I remember of it. It's been a while. I know Tommy Lee Jones plays like didn't he play like the cop that's investigating or?
Yeah, something like that. I think she has amnesia. She used to be some type of
Okay.
like, it's like a Jason. It reminds me a lot of Jason Bourne. It really does. Bourne Identity, where like I think she had amnesia, and like this is like her, where and then she's like she went off the grid, like left that old life behind, but she has amnesia, so she doesn't remember it. It's her
Yeah.
getting her old memories back and becoming her old self again. It's a cool like '90s thriller. Reminds me like La Femme Nikita and stuff like that. But for this release, it's getting a 1080p high definition presentation, audio commentary by film historian Scott Harrison, the making of Double Jeopardy Showtime Double Special, theatrical trailer, English Dolby Digital 2.0 and 5.0. That's a little weak there for. Come on, no lossless track, no DTS HD master, nothing like that. Anywho. Aspect ratio 235:1, theatrical trailer, optional English subtitles, limited edition slipcase on the first 2,000 with unique artwork. The artwork's not that unique, but
I was gonna say that's just the. I mean, I
That's
guess
the
maybe
poster.
the inner artwork is more unique.
I guess the inner artwork must be what they think about.
I guess
what they're talking
because
about.
that slipcover is just the poster.
Yeah, it's just the poster.
Yeah.
Yet again, the imprint titles are rather expensive. They are numbered. So they are like kind of limited, literally. And
Now I know we once again we get on them about being expensive, but I guess it's just that's the thing that happens when sometimes they're overseas. For
Right.
us, if they were, if
Stateside.
they were a UK based company, we probably wouldn't be complaining too much.
I mean, the shipping would still be expensive.
It
Even
would,
if they
but
were, even
we're
if they were
talking like
stateside.
I saw a friend, Aaron apparently got this bundle already. He bought it,
Oh.
and he showed me the receipt. $45 in shipping.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's as much as you
The
can buy.
bun-
Like,
I mean, the
you
the
can buy two
bundle
Criterions
is
for that.
$180.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah,
But I guess you probably save by buying the bundle versus buying them individually.
yeah. I mean, you
think
save
that's how those
like
bundles work.
30 something percent, but it's like
Yeah.
that shipping takes it all back.
Takes it all back and
Yeah.
then some.
Yeah,
But moving on, but yeah, like $45, you can buy two Criterions at the Criterion sale for that price
yeah.
and still have maybe like a couple bucks left over. I don't know. I can't do math. But once again, we're talking about a movie from the '90s. It is as good as it gets. This is a movie starring Jack Nicholson, as well as Greg Kinnear, as well as Helen Hunt. I've always been a big fan of this movie.
I love this movie.
I watched this movie when I was younger, probably around when it came out, and I've never owned it. This movie actually had a Twilight Time release
What?
many years ago.
Did
And
it?
it was probably one of Twilight Time's like first releases where I'm like, what company is this? Who are they?
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been waiting for a Blu-ray for this bitch for a while.
Yeah,
sorry for cussing.
Yeah, that's okay. You're forgiven. You're forgiven. But yeah, as good as it gets. Yeah. So it was. Yeah, this thing's long one. So this Blu-ray from Twilight Time came out in 2012.
Jeez.
That's how long ago I remember seeing Twilight Time being around. And this is when they were at Screen Archives, and I mean they're back there now, but this was before they moved to their own site.
Yeah.
And you could only get it through Screen Archives. Yeah, and this was one of their earliest releases. You can still buy this release on Amazon third-party market sellers for a $175.
Don't even say it, man. It's not even worth saying.
It's more of a joke than anything.
It's a joke, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much a joke. I'm really surprised no one else has like reissued this or picked up the license.
It's a Best Picture winner with Helen
Well,
Hunt and
no,
Jack
it's
Nicholson.
I thought it was I think it's a nominee. I
No,
don't
it's a
think it was
Best
winner.
Picture winner.
No, Steven, it's not. Pretty sure it's
Are
not.
you really?
Because
I could have
97
sworn
was
it won Best Picture.
97 was Titanic.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, you're
That's
right.
all I know.
You know what I'm thinking of is that he won Best Actor. Didn't he win Best Actor?
Oh man, I think I'm not gonna look this up.
Now look it up, please. Please let
yeah,
me be
but-
right about something.
Yeah, as good as it gets though is it's a good movie. Jack Nicholson.
James
is
L.
like,
Brooks is in it. Yeah,
yeah,
is the director.
Isn't Jack Nicholson? He's like not a hypochondriac, but he's like a germaphobe or
He's
something.
like a germaphobe.
Yeah.
And he, he's obsessive compulsive, and he does, he locks the door in
And then
numbers
he'll move
of
the
three,
lock like 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah, and he
And-
doesn't step on cracks on the ground and things like that.
Yeah, what happens is Greg Kinnear is his artist, is an artist who's like his neighbor, and he's like the complete opposite.
He plays his gay
he's an
neighbor.
And what
Which-
happens is he gets like attacked one night, and basically Jack Nicholson has to take care of his dog now, and Jack Nicholson doesn't like the dog at all.
Well, he doesn't even let anybody in his apartment.
Yeah,
at all.
But like he just takes care of this dog, and he just like they end up bonding and stuff and whatnot.
And at the same time, he goes to this diner where Helen Hunt is his waitress, and he's into her a little bit, and she kind of finds him endearing, though strange. And so like a bond comes between them in this kind of weird way.
Yeah, he goes to that diner and he brings his own silverware or his own he just does. And I'm pretty sure he's like,
and he's always rude to everybody. Like
because he probably has like no like filter or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this movie did win 2 Oscars. It did win for Best Actor in a Leading Role in Jack Nicholson.
Yes,
and did win Best Actress in a Leading Role for Helen Hunt. It was nominated for Best Picture.
I know. I wrote. If I'd have thought about the year, then I would have known. But
I'm pretty. Yeah,
and we know. L.A. Confidential should have won that year. I should have remembered that. So
yeah, that was when. Yeah, and Kim Basinger ended up winning that year.
Yeah.
Speaking of L.A. Confidential, everybody should go and listen to our episode we did on L.A. Confidential. Back in the Cinema Discovery Project days. That is what we call a plug.
Plug, an unnecessary plug, but a plug.
Oh, hey, any listeners or viewership or whatever is important, regardless of episode. But back to this release of As Good As It Gets. We are getting a 1080p high-definition presentation, audio commentary with director James L. Brooks and actors Jack Nicholson, Helen Hunt, and Greg Kinnear. New featurette on James L. Brooks from 2021. Hello. New actor featurette. I don't know who.
I don't know anything more than that.
Yeah, it could be anyone. New visual essay by filmmaker, writer, and programmer Ian Montiani, I believe, from 2021.
Yeah,
Isolated score, English Dolby Digital 2.0, 5.1. Why are we skipping out on the audio here? Theatrical trailer, optional English subtitles, then limited edition slipcase on the first 2000s with unique artwork. Yet again, the unique artwork isn't quite unique.
Just looks like Nicholson's face.
Yes, it is. And yeah, I love how the inner artwork is just a different pose of Nicholson's face.
All right. Look, we got to have some fun sometimes, guys. I mean, look, we love these labels. I'm going to buy this no matter. I mean, I'm buying this.
I mean, right now, there's not many options to getting this movie.
Well, yeah, but either
Blu-ray.
way, look, these are still great releases, though it's
they
funny
are.
sometimes the way they describe some of these things. But
you got to sell it. Come on now.
Yeah.
We know how it is.
I'm definitely buying this. I've been waiting for a Blu-ray for this for a while, and
it looks like As Good As It Gets has gotten a Blu-ray release in every single country on the planet. Yeah,
except for the
the U.S. has one, but it's
out of print. So.
It's tough to get. Yeah, there's not another one here.
I bet you know what's going to happen, right? This is going to come out.
Oh yeah,
and then Kino's going to put it out.
I'm surprised they didn't pick up the license for it already.
I bet you they're going to do it. It's going to be Kino.
They've been picking up all the other Twilight Time licenses that have been.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I might wait. Because the Kino release might be cheaper.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to have these special features.
That audio might be better. You keep complaining about the audio.
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why I'm an ass about that. Just because, I mean, for Blu-ray, why are we still going back to the old audio formats? We should be. I mean, you don't really need it for a film like this, but I don't know. Just see for that price, you might as well.
Yeah.
But moving on now down the line to a movie that I'm excited as hell to get any Blu-ray release anywhere. It does have a Blu-ray release, I think, in other countries, but nothing here. And I've had this on DVD for years. And this is Gus Van Sant's film Drugstore Cowboy from 1989. This movie is amazing and doesn't get talked about enough. This movie
Yeah.
stars Matt Dillon, Kelly Lynch. Um, yeah, this movie's amazing. I
I mean,
can't say enough
I
about it.
haven't seen it, but I'm gonna watch it because it's on Tubi, so I can easily watch it. And with your recommendation, I'm probably gonna pick this one up too.
Yeah, I really
Eventually.
dig this movie. It's I believe it's the film he did before he did My Own Private Idaho,
Okay.
but it's in that same vein of like and I love these types of movies of like lost youth
Yeah.
and just people who, it's that whole rebel without a cause thing. Like
Yeah.
just youth just having no purpose and just kind of trying to figure their lives out. And, sometimes things go bad, sometimes things get better, and it's just a roller coaster ride.
So the movie's got it didn't really have a narrative structure to it. It's just kind of like following.
I think, well, it does.
Okay.
But basically, they're all like these young kids who are like drug addicts and stuff. Matt Dillon and Kelly Lynch's characters are married, so they're like a young couple who are just like they're just going around robbing stores to feed their drug habits. And yeah, it's just a really, really interesting kind of film about lost youth and dysfunctional, substitute families and things like that.
Yeah.
It's a really great film. But anywho, this is getting a release with a bunch of new features. 1080p high definition presentation, vintage making of documentary, which I assume is from the DVD. Then the new stuff starts rolling in. New visual essay by filmmaker Chris O'Neill, new featurette on Gus Van Sant, new composer featurette, new writer featurette, new actor featurette. I'm assuming that those are just like placeholders.
Yeah,
For
like we
something.
said before, if they don't say any more detail, it's probably because they're still working on them.
Yeah, they're still working on it.
Yeah.
But those are all from 2021. And then you have a theatrical trailer and then English Dolby Digital 2.0. So yeah, come on now. Come on now, what are we doing? I mean, it's going to get a movie that doesn't need it, but that's like DVD level audio quality, Steven. I'm getting that here.
So what should it say?
DTS HD Master would be nice,
Yeah.
even in 2.0, or, this doesn't need a 5.1 because nothing really there for that, but come on, Dolby Digital 2.0, that's the same audio that I have on the DVD. What are we doing here? Make it worth my while. Limited edition slipcase on the first 2,000 copies with unique artwork. Yeah,
Okay.
I dig it. I want it.
I can tell.
Yeah, and next is a movie that I actually haven't seen called Chinese Box from 1997. Steven, you said you've seen this movie.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's an interesting kind of romance historical. I guess it's I don't know. I don't think it's based on any true story, but it's based within a true event. And when the British, who were colonizing in China, finally left China in the mid '90s, and I guess China became their own republic after that, completely their own republic. And so the story is around Jeremy Irons, who's like a British journalist, and he's kind of hanging around still, and he kind of falls in love with this woman there, and he also finds out he has like kind of an illness, and I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah,
but
don't give it away. Don't give it away.
It's a decent film. I feel like I didn't look into it, but I'm pretty sure they actually shot in China. I would assume because it looks like it's China, but because I've been there.
Yeah,
it looks like it has a lot of like good scenery in it, so it feels like that they're definitely in Hong Kong or in that area.
Yeah, it is set in Hong Kong, and I
Okay.
believe there's a lot of historical things to go with Hong Kong, but this is director Wayne Wong, who directed the Joy Luck Club. So this movie is getting a new 2020 1080p high definition 2K restoration.
Yeah.
That sounds nice. Audio commentary with co-writer/director Wayne Wong and critic Roger Garcia. New featurette on Wayne Wong. New composer featurette. Chinese Box Home Movies featurette. Original aspect ratio 1:8:5. And it looks like we're getting a theatrical trailer and English Dolby Digital 2.0 limited edition slipcase on the first 2,000 copies with unique artwork. And yeah, that is Chinese Box from 1997.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty good film. I mean, I love Jeremy Irons. I think he's a great actor.
Yeah, I think he's still a great actor.
Nah, he's not good anymore.
No,
He
yeah,
sucks now.
people's I guess
Just kidding.
talents
just
wane. I guess.
Nah, he's good.
Next is a movie that I think many of us, I know Steven and I, and probably the listening public are very, very familiar with, and that is Days of Heaven, which is a film by the great Terrence Malick. This is his film that he did after Badlands, and this is the last movie he did for like 20 years until he did The Thin Red Line. So Days of Heaven, this has already gotten a Criterion release years ago, which I think is now out of print. So if you can get it while you can, get it while you can. And Paramount here is re-releasing it by themselves because, I don't know, for some reason. But this is getting, this is an amazing movie. I can't really, really describe, you can't quite describe a Terrence Malick movie.
It's pretty tough. I mean, unless you're talking about his more narratively, driven movies. I mean, this has got a narrative to it. I mean, it's about a farmer who falls in love with this woman, and then he tries to like get her to fall, to marry this like rich guy that they work for.
I'm pretty sure it takes place during the Great Depression. Where people were just like traveling around specifically westward looking for work, and the movie stars Richard Gere, Brooke Adams, Sam Shepard, and Linda Manz. And I think Richard Gere and Brooke Adams, I think, are they're a couple, but they're pretending to be brother and sister, I guess, for some reason. It's a great movie. Yeah. Gorgeous cinematography. My God. Yeah. My goodness.
This is one of the shortest Malick movies. It's only 94 minutes long.
Yeah, this was back before his movie were super, super long. But this has a 1080p high-definition restored digital transfer, supervised and approved by director Terrence Malick. They had to put all that there. New audio commentary by film scholar Adrian Martin from 2021. New editor featurette from 2021. New composer featurette from 2021. New visual essay on Linda Manz by filmmaker Chris O'Neill from 2021. And English Dolby Digital 2.0/5.1. Trailer, English subtitles, limited edition slipcase on first 2,000 copies with unique artwork, and it's just the movie poster. I mean, if you have the Criterion already, I don't know if you necessarily need this unless you want the new special features. Yeah. And I don't know what the Paramount release is having in comparison to this one. So I don't know if it's worth I guess.
Yeah, for me,
doubling or tripling by?
What are they doing? I didn't end up getting the Days of Heaven Criterion. It was one of the movies where I love the movie, and I just, for some reason, never got it.
Oh, okay then.
So I might be getting this. So yeah. Because I'm not getting that Paramount release with that shitty artwork.
Oh, yeah.
God, that artwork's terrible.
The artwork on a lot of those releases are some of the laziest stuff you'll ever see. So moving on now to The Straight Story. And this is a film by one of my absolute favorite directors of all time, and that is the great David Lynch. Of course, director of many great films, Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive. Of course, he was responsible for the epic television series Twin Peaks. But this is a movie unlike any other movie in his filmography. Yeah. It is The Straight Story, and that is an appropriate title because this movie is so even keel, so like the complete opposite of everything you know about David Lynch is kind of in this movie. In the sense, like, his movies are typically rather harsh. They're very aggressive. They're mystical. They're magical. They're a mind trip. This movie's so not that. It's just stripped down to basic humanity, and it's a stunningly beautiful movie in every sense of the description. Basically, there's this elderly man who's in his 70s. It's based on a true story, portrayed by Richard Farnsworth in an amazing performance, who stars as Alvin Straight, and basically he's gonna ride his sit-down lawnmower, or tractor.
His lawnmower.
basically to go from Iowa to Wisconsin to visit his brother who's just had a stroke, and it's his estranged brother who he hasn't talked to in 10 years because they had a falling out, and you just follow him on this 6-week journey, and it just goes through like the people he meets and just exploring life and just everything, man.
Well,
And what's so
yeah,
beautiful about it is there's nothing in the movie's forced.
yeah.
There's no like conflict when he's on the road, like someone tries to rob him or he gets into trouble or anything like that. No, just moving along. It's beautiful. Just
I
a
mean, there's
beautiful
definitely
movie.
conflict, but it's not like
Yeah,
people are not necessarily the conflict. It's
yeah,
just
like
circumstance.
basically like a conflict, like his lawnmower will break down or something.
Yeah, because I mean, he's pulling this heavy trailer behind him that it's
Yes.
not meant, and of course, lawnmowers are not meant to go that distance and over hills and up
Yeah,
hills.
it
And
can only he can only go 5 miles an hour.
yeah.
And it's like, but like that's like the extent of the problems he has is like the lawnmower will break down. And he's
Needing
gotta get it
money,
fixed.
needing more money, or
Yeah,
things like
or
yeah.
like anything like that. But there's nothing like him getting into some type of shenanigans somewhere, getting wrapped up into some B plot story nonsense. Nothing like that. It's a beautiful movie, and uh, I've had the DVD for years. I got it as a gift. I don't know if it was a birthday or if it was Christmas, but I've had the DVD for years, and I'm really glad this is getting a Blu-ray release. 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't think this has one from anywhere.
No, not. I mean, if it does, it's maybe overseas, maybe. But one interesting thing, and it's not really ruining the movie for anybody that hasn't seen it. But one thing I kind of made a connection on, and I thought was very interesting, is when you get to the end of this movie and you see who plays his brother, you get Harry Dean Winston
Oh,
plays his
Stanton.
brother, or Stanton. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
plays his brother, and Harry Dean Stanton, his last movie was a movie called Lucky.
Yes.
Was directed by John Carroll Lynch, and it
Yes,
has
it was.
David Lynch in it.
Yes, it does.
He's
Well,
in the
They
movie.
were friends.
Yeah. And, so I find this to be it was kind of poetic that David Lynch was involved in a similar type of movie about kind of like getting old and dealing with like that kind of stuff, dealing with the world, and they're both, Lynch is involved in both of them,
Very true.
and I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, so the Straight Story does have a couple of Blu-ray releases recently in like Germany and Italy, and Spain, as well as Japan, and then I think that's
So basically, everybody else got to get this on
everybody else got
Blu-ray.
it, but here, which
Yeah.
is a running theme throughout everything. This is a movie coincidentally put out by and currently owned by Disney. So
And this
maybe
is why
that's
I
the
thought it
reason?
was so surprising to me. I was like,
Yeah,
we're never
me
going to
too.
get this movie on Blu-ray,
You never. I never thought
And
we'd see
so
the day.
This gives me a lot of faith that Open Range is going to get a release maybe by Imprint, because Imprint seems to be getting some stuff that's never been released.
Is that the Kevin Costner film?
Yeah, Kevin Costner, what's his name, plays in it too. Shit.
Uh-oh.
From damn Godfather.
Oh, Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall.
Bobby Duvall, as we call him.
Yeah. They're both in that. It's a great Western. Really good.
Yeah, that's a cast.
Directed by Kevin Costner. Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Duvall, Diego Luna, Annette Bening is in it, Michael Gambon. Yeah, that's a good cast. I've never seen the movie, actually.
It's a great Western. Yeah. But yeah, Straight Story is a great release. I'm definitely buying this. Along with As Good as It Gets is the definite buys for me. Great film.
And for details on it, 1080p high definition presentation from the restored 4K master. Okay, now we're playing with the big words. The big words. And there's a new commentary by film critic Peter Tonguet, a new producer/editor featurette, new featurette on the score, which is done by Angelo Badalamenti. So Twin Peaks fans, you'll know that name very much so. New production design featurette, a new visual essay by filmmaker, writer, and programmer Ian Montiani, and English Dolby Digital 2.0 surround /5.1 trailer, English subtitles, and then the limited edition slipcase on the first 2000 with 2,000 copies with unique artwork. And it is beautiful artwork. I'll say this: out of
Yeah.
all the other ones, this one's gorgeous looking. You'll never find David Lynch doing probably a special feature on any of his
No.
movies. He doesn't explain his movies. He doesn't talk about his movies. He doesn't even like his movies to have chapter breaks on like DVDs or Blu-rays or anything. He just wants you to experience the movies itself.
Yeah.
You know, truly unique. Yeah, I kind of, out of all of the Imprint releases so far, and there's been quite a few, this one has been one I really, really want to shell out the cash for.
Do it.
Do it, and I think that's everything.
Yeah, that's everything
from Imprint.
Yep. So now
we saved the biggest, I guess, for last.
kind of, yeah. I guess. I mean,
Probably
it's been
physically.
a pretty hefty episode.
Yeah,
But now we're making our way down to Arrow Video's August releases, and we got a good lineup here. A few I haven't heard of, but I think maybe they're interesting here. We got Dinner in America.
Yes, finally.
Oh, is this something you've seen?
No, I haven't seen it, but it came out last year.
Okay.
And it hasn't gotten any distribution whatsoever when it comes to not even physical media, but even like, I guess, like theatrical one. It was one of those that was, I think, was at like Sundance or South by Southwest. And yet it has no release anywhere on the planet right now.
I can tell you, I love the description of this movie. It says, welcome to Dollhouse. Dollhouse collides with Napoleon Dynamite with a added dose of the endless quotable dialogue of Heathers. In Dinner in America, a DIY love letter to being authentically yourself, finding your voice, and being punk as fuck.
Nice.
Or AF, as they say. I'm going to say the words.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not aware of this movie, but it sounds cool. I love the artwork. Going into the extras here, we got a high definition 1080p Blu-ray presentation. We have an original 5.1 DTS HD master audio. That's what this is supposed to be, apparently.
Thank you.
Yeah. Original English subtitles with for the deaf and hard of hearing. You got a brand new audio commentary with director Adam Rahmir, producers David Hunter and Ross Putman, with lead actors Kyle Gardner and Emily Skeggs. Fantasia International Film Festival 2020 live stream. Maybe that's the film festival you were talking about.
Okay, yeah, I think it is.
Q&A with Adam Resner and Emily, all the actors and cinematographer, all them people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I'm assuming like that may be like a Zoom,
a panel. Yeah.
Or a Zoom thing.
And also that it has more film festival stuff here. We got the Penn Dance Film Festival 2021 live streamed, Q&A, trailer, image gallery, and reversible sleeve. Yeah, I mean, it looks like an interesting film. I mean, I don't know if I'll buy it right away, but I'd like to try to watch it first. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch it for like a year, and it's impossible to watch anywhere. Yeah. I don't think I could even find it for like streaming to rent anywhere, just because it's one of those festival films that just kind of in the ether when it comes to distribution.
Yeah. All right.
Next.
Well, next on the slate, we got a film from Kim Yi-woo, and this film is called A Tale of Two Sisters. I'm pretty sure Kim well, his name's in different ways. Yi-woo Kim is the director of I Saw the Devil.
Oh, yes, he is. We did a whole episode on that dark and fucked up movie.
yeah.
For when we did all our horror movies.
If you've seen I Saw the Devil, then you might be knowing what you're going to get yourself in store for here, which is maybe something kind of crazy, maybe something a little disturbing.
A little. Let's put it lightly. But
maybe. But I haven't seen the film, but it's got a long list of special features here. You want to run through them?
Yeah, holy.
You see them? Yeah,
me.
it's scaring me. Yeah.
That's here we are. Let's roll through this.
You're a better reader than me. I'm terrible at
Okay.
pronouncing names and stuff. So
High definition 1080p Blu-ray presentation. Steven, you do give 100% maximum effort though.
I try.
Yeah.
I'm just terrible at pronouncing names and things.
Original DTS HD Master 5.1 and uncompressed stereo audio. Optional English subtitles. Brand new audio commentary by Korean cinema historian Pierce Conran and critic James Marsh. Audio commentary by writer-director Kim Ji-woon. Lighting cameraman Oh Seung-chul and cinematographer Lee Mogae. Audio commentary by writer-director Kim Ji-woon and cast members Im Soo-jung and Moon Gyung-young. Always on the Move, the dynamic camera and spaces of master stylist Kim Ji-woon, a brand new visual essay by Korean cinema historian Pierce Conran. Spirits of the Peninsula, Folklore in Korean Cinema, a brand new visual essay by cultural historian Sean Morrissey. Imaginary Beasts, Memory, Trauma, and Uncanny in the Tale of Two Sisters, a brand new visual essay by genre historian and critic Kat Ellinger. Behind the scenes and archival featurette shot during filming, outtakes, archival footage from set, production design, archival featurettes about the intricate look of the sets, music score, archival featurette, CGI and archival featurette, creating the poster, an archival featurette about the iconic original poster. A lot of things happening.
Jeez,
here.
this is how is this all fitting on one disc?
Yeah, this got to be a 2-discer.
It's not. It's one disc.
Wow. Cast interviews, archival interviews with Kim Kabusu, Yom Jung-ah, Im Sung-jung, and Moon Gyun-young. Deleted scenes with director's commentary. Director's analysis and archival featurette in which Kim Ji-woon discusses the complexity and ambiguities contained within the film and why they were important to him. This movie sounds amazing. Director's thoughts on horror and archival featurette in which Kim Ji-woon discusses his feelings about the horror genre. Psychiatrist's perspective and archival featurette exploring the psychological reality behind the story of the film. Theatrical trailer, still throwing that in. Seems a little ridiculous now.
Look.
A stills gallery, reversible sleeve with original and newly commissioned artwork by Sister Hyde. First pressing only is getting an illustrated booklet featuring the new writing by critics Stacey Ponder and Anya Stanley, plus a new translation of the original Korean folktale and that inspired the film.
Well, look,
this may be one of the most deluxe stacked I've ever seen from Arrow.
In one disc.
They've stacked it.
In one disc. How in the heck? Are each of these features like 2 minutes long or something?
They must, I guess so.
I mean,
unless they're like in standard
to put
def
on one disc along with the movie.
Unless this is like a BD 100 disc or something like that, like a 100 gig disc, or even a BD 66 disc, which 66 gigs. I guess you can get the pattern here. But yeah, that's a monster release. I kind of want this movie just for all the special features.
I feel like it's one of them releases where it's like you're really gonna know the movie by the time you get through the special features.
Yeah, you're getting like a dissertation on this film and everything in it and everything that went into it. Wow, that's a movie.
Yeah,
that's a release.
I'm you know what? I haven't bought. I've bought two of the releases we're talking about. I'm not gonna tell you which ones until we get to them. But I haven't bought this one, so maybe I will buy this one now that we went through all this, because it does sound amazing. Cool. All right, so let's move on to Blind Beast. We got Blind Beast here. It's a film, I think, from a director that's already gotten a lot of releases recently. It's from a director. His name is Yazukuza Mazura. You say it. I'm terrible with.
I'm trying to find it actually. Of course, I'm on Blu-ray.com, and
it's Yazukuza Mazumura. They had recent releases from Arrow come out from him. I think the last release slate had one of his films, and then they also had, I think it's called Giants and Toys. Was another one. And so they must have gotten a lot of his films, and are there seems to be putting them out quickly. So yeah, I don't know much about this. I don't know much about this film.
No, neither do I.
A blind sculptor and his mother kidnap a young model. I mean,
yeah, that's about it. But what are we talking about in terms of special features here?
Special features wise,
I mean, it's gonna be kind of hard to match what we just saw.
It didn't have much. It's got high definition Blu-ray, 1080p presentation, original uncompressed Japanese mono audio, and we have optional English subtitles, brand new auto commentary with Asian cinema scholar Earl Jackson. We have newly filmed introduction by Japanese cinema expert Tony Raines, Blind Beast, Mazumura, the super supreme surrealist, a brand new visual essay by Japanese literature and visual studies scholar Seth Jobenbach's original trailer, image gallery, reversible sleeve, with newly commissioned artwork from Tony Stella. And then there's a booklet that comes with it. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything from this director yet. I did buy the copy of Giants and Toys.
Okay.
And I haven't watched it yet, but he seems to have a lot of good stuff, and yeah, I'd be willing to check him out.
I like the title.
Yeah,
I really like the title. Speaking of titles, Steven, you want to move on to the next one, which also is a great title, Brotherhood of Satan. Now that's a title. That's a title grabber. Do you want to go through that one too?
Sure. Well, first of all, this did just get a release from Imprint.
Okay.
Or it got announced as a release, I think, for the July slate from Imprint. So you can go back and listen to that episode if you want to listen to us talk about it there. But this version has a high definition 1080p presentation, original uncompressed mono audio, optional English subtitles, brand new auto commentary by writers Kim Newman and Sean Hogan, I'm sorry. Satan Panic, how the 1970s conjured the Brotherhood of Satan, a brand new visual essay by David Flint. The Children of Satan, exclusive new interview with actor Jonathan Eckerson and Jonathan Eckerson Elsley and Allison Moore. You have original trailers, TV spots, radio spots, image gallery, reversible sleeve artwork. I was doing a comparison with the Imprint release, and it looks like if you're talking about special features, it looks like maybe you're going to get a little bit more out of the Arrow release. There are two new features in the Imprint release. One's a audio commentary from Troy Howard, and it looks like they have a special feature that's kind of like a talk with an author, a historian on their end, but it looks like you got maybe a couple more interesting features here. I guess it's your pick, really. I mean,
yeah, I guess so. I'm pretty sure price-wise they're going to run you about the same. So if those of you concerned about pricing,
I mean, the price for the Arrow edition is going to be cheaper.
Well, yeah, because this is also getting a U.S. release.
Yeah,
so that does help. That does help a lot.
Yeah, they're going to have a couple releases for this. So I think if you're talking about price-wise, I think this Arrow release is probably going to be a little bit more affordable. But I mean, it's really up to you. I mean, they both have great artwork. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 2 Arrow releases left, and they're bigger. They're big ones. We have the Sergio Martino collection. This is an Italian set. Do you want me to do this one, Steven?
Yeah, go ahead.
You a break? Yeah, let me give you a break. This is a big one. Okay, and this is a set of, looks like 3 films. It's The Case of the Scorpion's Tail. Your Vice is a locked room, and only I have the key. A little long there. The suspicious death of a minor. I wonder what that's about. So yeah, 3 films from Sergio Martino. The Case of the Scorpion's Tail, you're right, I said that already. And these are all getting restored in 2K from the original camera negatives. And each film has a bunch of features. First
I mean,
one
if you don't want to go through them all, I mean,
I got it. Audio commentary with writer Ernesto Gastaldi, moderated by filmmaker Federico Cadeo. Under the Sign of the Scorpion, an interview with star George Hilton. The Scorpion Tales, an interview with director Sergio Martino. A Jet Set Giallo, an analysis Sergio Martino's films by Michael J. Coven, author of La Dolce Morte, vernacular cinema, and the Italian Giallo film. That sounds fascinating. The Case of the Screenwriter, author, a video essay by Troy Haworth, author of So Deadly, So Perverse, 50 Years of Italian Giallo Films. And then we have theatrical trailer, image gallery, reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Chris Malbon? No.
Yeah.
Your Vice is a locked room and only I have the key. Man, say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I know, right?
Through the Keyhole, an interview with director Sergio Martino, unveiling the Vice, making of retrospective featuring interviews with Martino star Edwidge Fenech and screenwriter Ernesto Gastaldi. Dolls of Flesh and Blood, the Gialli of Sergio Martino, a visual essay by Michael McKenzie exploring the director's unique contribution to the Giallo genre. The Strange Vices of Miss French, film historian Justin Harris on Your Vice actress's prolific career. Eli Roth on Your Vice and Genius of Martino. Reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Matthew Griffin. Then lastly, we have The Suspicious Death of a Minor, which has the least amount of special features. Audio commentary by Troy Haworth, author of So Deadly, So Perverse, 50 Years of Italian Giallo Films. Violent Milan, an interview with co-writer / director Sergio Martino. Reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Chris Malbon. Yeah, it looks like you're going to get a lot of information about not only Sergio Martino, but his place in the genre of the Italian Giallo films. That's an interesting box set.
Yeah.
I do like Giallo. I do like that stuff.
And I love that artwork, man. That artwork's amazing.
Yeah, it is. That's pretty rad.
I got a chance to watch one of these films. I watched Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key. It's actually really good. I really enjoyed it. I rented it on Amazon. They also have the Suspicious Death of a Minor on Amazon too. But yeah, the Vice, Your Vice is a Locked Door is actually really good. Very twisty turny. It's about it almost kind of has the plot of a Stephen King movie. Sort of like it's about a writer. Though you don't really get much into his writing. He doesn't. You don't see him doing a lot of writing. He's more or less drinking and beating his wife.
How terrible!
Yeah, I know, right? So, but it's about a kind of a writer who's kind of a bad dude and
sounds a lot like The Shining.
Well, yeah, and then these murders start happening around him, and so he kind of gets involved. In it somewhere, I don't want to give away too much because it's got a lot of a mystery vibe to it, but it's a very stylish and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a nice little hour and 40-minute watch. It's good.
Nice, but I guess we have come to it at last. The biggest for the last one, both literally and figuratively. I think that we've covered everything else. Just double checking.
That's it.
And we've come to it at last, for the first time, for the last time. We thought this was coming out a while ago, and they teased us a little bit, but it's finally here. And this is another David Lynch film, and this is Dune, an adaptation of the Frank Herbert legendary sci-fi novel of the same name. This film is actually quite disowned by David Lynch in the sense that, it was pretty much taken away from him, and he kind of didn't really have much to say when it came to the version that we have today.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, we're getting another adaptation later this year, done by Denis Villeneuve, which looks amazing. But this is getting this film is getting several different editions. We're getting a UHD 4K limited edition version. I think we're getting a Blu-ray version of that same set, and I think we're getting also two different steelbook type versions as well, Steven?
Yeah, you get like there's like a single like a limited edition dual format steelbook.
Okay.
And then there's like a deluxe, like dual format, that comes
Steelbook.
like in a hardback. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hardback and the steelbook's within the hardback.
I'm a traditionalist typically, so I'm probably going to go for the 4K UHD limited edition one, the one with the
sandworm on it.
with
Yeah.
the sandworm on the cover.
That's what I bought. Yeah.
Yeah, that's typically the route I'd go. I'm not a big steelbook fan like I used to be when I was younger.
Yeah.
I love the thickness of these sets, and I just love the artwork of them. Although the artwork for the steelbook does look gorgeous as well.
Yeah.
I'll have to say that.
No, I like the artwork on both of these, but I'm with you. Like it's like the material, like steelbook is kind of like a newer thing that I was into also a little bit, but I like the that material, the cardboard material is kind of like a book on the shelf, the same as
Very cool.
But I mean, I'm excited for this release.
This movie's a bit of a cult movie.
Yeah.
I think it's gotten more popular over time. I think this movie came out, 1984, I think? I want to say
84, 86, something like that.
I think it's around there, and 1984. I was right.
Yeah.
Nice. And I have an old Blu-ray edition of this. I think it came out years ago. But this would be a welcome upgrade. Dune is. I've read most of the books in the Dune series. Dune is not like. Dune's a tough adaptation, man.
Yeah.
It's not Star Wars. It's not Star Trek. It is high sci-fi, and back in the day, they need to give you like a viewing guide to see this movie in the theater. Like that's how kind of involved it is. It's like space politics, and But anywho, I can understand why this movie was so difficult to adapt at the time and is now, and why David Lynch doesn't really.
Well, it's also notable
movie.
that Alejandro Jodorowsky tried to
do it in the 70s.
Yeah, he tried to
that
do
movie
this
would have
film
been amazing.
for him.
Watch that documentary, Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yeah.
Because that was ambitious beyond ambition.
Yeah.
I mean, Jodorowsky's pretty out there as a dude anyway, as a guy anyway. So
his style really would have been great.
Yeah, what's the irony is that he didn't even read the book. I don't think he was just he was gonna do his own thing.
Yeah. Sometimes that makes up for better movies. But.
I guess. I mean, for me, I mean, we're going off on a tangent here, so you're gonna reel me back in. But when it comes to watching movies that are adaptations of books, I don't factor that into them when I'm having a judgment about their quality. You know what I mean? I think those are two different things. Movies are different than books, so you kind of have to judge them differently, and their adaptations are different too. Because I
was gonna say the only thing I would expect is that you take the best parts of the book, and as long as you can translate that, I'll be happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite movie of all time is Lord of the Rings, and those movies aren't, anywhere near 100% accurate to the books at all. So, for me, it doesn't ruin it.
You would say it took a lot of the best parts of it and did it well.
Yeah, it took a lot of the core elements and themes, friendship, love, good versus evil, all that kind of stuff, and kind of it really gave us an amazing story, amazing, direction and action and acting and all that kind of stuff. But because it's not a great adaptation, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, those movies aren't good. You can't really come. I view them as two separate analysis, kind of rubric things. But jumping into Dune, Steven, do you want to give us a breakdown of this glorious set here?
Yeah, well, okay, so the limited edition Blu-ray content we got here, we got a brand new 4K restoration from the original camera negative, which is amazing. So it's going to look nice. We got a 60-page perfect bound book featuring new writing on the film by Andrew Nett and Christian McCrea and Charles Bryden, an American cinematographer interview with sound designer Alan Spillett from 1984, excerpts from an interview with director from Chris Rodley, book on Lynch, and a Dune terminology glossary from the original release. So
That's what I
that's
was talking
interesting.
about. Yeah,
You'll need that. Yeah.
they gave you that with like the DVD release too, I
Yeah.
think.
You got a large fold-out double-sided poster featuring the original and newly commissioned artwork by Daniel Taylor. We have a six double-sided postcards, sized lobby cards, and reproductions. We have a limited edition packaging with a reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork from Daniel Taylor. Disc 1 has the feature and extras, high definition. This is the Blu-ray presentation. Is a high definition presentation, 1080p. Let's see. Let's get down to the special features. We got a brand new audio commentary from film historian Paul M. Salmon. We have a brand new audio commentary from Mike White of the Projection Booth podcast. We have impressions of Dune on 2003 documentary of the making of the film, featuring interviews with star Kyle MacLachlan, producer Rafaela de Laurentiis, cinematographer Freddie Francis, editor Anthony Gibbs, and many others. Designing Dune, a 2005 featurette looking back at the work of production designer Anthony Masters. We have Dune FX, a 2005 featurette exploring the special effects of the film. We have Dune Models and Miniatures, a 2005 featurette focusing on the model effects in the film. We have Dune Costumes. Man, we're going over all the productions in this one.
Yeah, I think these are all like older special
archival
features.
Yeah. 2005 featurettes looking at the elaborate costume design seen in the film. 11 deleted scenes from the film, which is 2005 introduction by Rafaela de Laurentiis. Destination Dune, a 1983 featurette originally produced to promote the film at the convention and publicity events. Theatrical trailer, TV spots, extensive image galleries, introducing hundreds of still photos. And then on the disc 2, we have more special features. The Sleeper Must Awaken, making Dune a brand new feature-length documentary by Bellevue Motion Pictures, exploring the making of the film, featuring dozens of new and archival interviews with cast and crew. That's pretty awesome that they got a whole new documentary here. Beyond Imagination, Merchandising Dune, a brand new featurette exploring the merchandise and created to promote the film, featuring toy collector and producer Brian Silman. You got Prophecy Fulfilled, Scoring Dune, a brand new featurette on the film's musical score, featuring interviews with Toto guitarists Steve Lukather and Toto keyboardist Steve Porcaro, and film music historian Tim Grieving. Brand new interview with makeup effects artist Ganado de Rossi, and that was filmed in 2020. And archival interviews with production coordinator Golda Offerhelm, filmed in 2003. Archival interview with star Paul Smith, filmed in 2008. And archival interview with makeup effects artist Christopher Tucker. So yeah, tons of features on this thing. I'm excited just to go into the special features.
Yeah, I think a lot of those ones from like 2005 are probably from the DVD, because this has gotten several releases in the past.
Okay.
I remember when I was first collecting, I would see the several DVD editions of this at the store back when I was collecting DVDs in like mid to late 2000s. This had like a 1-disc edition. This had a 2-disc special edition DVD. This had a steelbook edition DVD. I mean, of course, it had the Blu-ray. Yeah, this movie's been released a bunch of times just on DVD and Blu-ray over the years. But this looks like the deluxe edition that you can ever get. Definitely with the new restoration from the original camera negative. I mean, and then all the extra goodness in there. Yeah, I can't wait for this release.
It's already ordered. I already ordered this. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to completing Lynch.
I mean, right now, the Straight Story got its Blu-ray release, although it already had one in other places. But at least here, or in Region A land,
Yeah.
with Imprint. All we need is Inland Empire.
Yeah.
Come on now, at least here in the States, because I think it's got a release overseas, if memory serves, just because that seems
And
to
of
be...
course it's got a DVD, but it's
Yeah, you know what's crazy? This... let me get a little riled up here.
Oh, jeez.
Inland Empire has had a Blu-ray release in the UK since 2010, and we've got nothing here. It's been 11 years. What's going on?
Wow.
What's going on? And I'm pretty sure... Yeah. I thought it was put up at
It's
Universal.
coming. You know it's coming.
Better be
It's
coming. Come on now. Yeah, so that's all the Arrow releases, and for new releases for August. Yes, August.
Yeah.
I almost forgot where we were or what the time was. Yeah, but that's we saved the most abundant for last, I think,
Yeah.
in terms of special features, in terms of just probably quality of releases. I mean, Arrow's putting out high
They're
quality
putting out
stuff
some
constantly,
great
man.
stuff over the last few months.
Yeah. Their
but-
UHD releases are gorgeous looking. Just
Yeah.
gorgeous. And their Blu-rays too.
Yeah.
But I'm exhausted. I don't know about you, Steve.
I'm tired. You know, I want to go ahead and apologize because I'm having a hard time tonight with speaking. And I mean, I've always been having a hard time pronouncing things, but for some reason, it's extra special tonight.
These are not exactly easy things to pronounce.
They're not, but I could be better. So, but I apologize for that in advance or after the fact. So, but that's it for our show this week. Andrew, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Cabzilla06, as well as my YouTube channel, Cabzilla Productions.
And you can find me on Facebook, Stephen Billings. You can find me on Instagram at ChasingLabels16, where I'm posting all the stuff I bought. I finally caught up. You saw me post like 5 or 6 posts yesterday.
I did. Stuff
Finally
I didn't
catching
even
up.
know that you got.
Yeah, I know, right? Also, you can catch me on Letterboxd at Chasing Labels. You can find the audio for this podcast on Podbean. You can find it on Stitcher. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Spotify. We've updated all that stuff, so you can find it all them places. Thank you once again for listening, and hey, keep on watching them movies.
I know I will.